Blessed love, Empress Jeanille with you. Today I'm with a brethren, Priest Panka, representing the Bobo Shanti, Rastafari and faith here in Trinidad and Tobago. So we want to hold a little reasoning session, right, Panka? I know you have a wealth of information, experience and knowledge when it comes to the farming and agricultural industry here in Trinidad and Tobago. You're a well-known farmer and planter on island. What's it been like for you witnessing over the past few years, first the decriminalization of cannabis in TNT, and now watching all these other islands getting on board, launching their different authorities and organizations and medical cannabis licensing and all these different movements and improvements in the cannabis industry? What's it like for you here in Trinidad and Tobago, knowing that we're not quite there yet?
We would like to get on board the same mission that Jamaica and St. Vincent are, right? But the government, they're not taking the thing serious. We have a lot of farmers in Trinidad and Tobago who planting herb for maybe more than 50 years, and we went through a lot of persecution for herbs, from brutalization from the system to incarceration, and still it have people who lock up in prison right now for a small thing like a joint or a spliff. And we think it's time that, the government of Trinidad and Tobago do something about this. Because, all over the Caribbean, the herb decriminalizing, and we feel that, the government of Trinidad and Tobago could do such for, for the citizens out here.
Yeah, well, I think you're echoing the sentiments of the nation on all aspects, all levels of the nation. We were just talking to the Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal of UE St. Augustine here in Trinidad, Professor Antoine, and she was talking about the injustice that she has been on the front line of those causes, the injustice and the inhumanitarian conditions that our local planters, particularly of the Rastafarian community, are experiencing, whether it's being, unlawfully locked up for extensive periods of time, even just awaiting a trial date, stuck in remand yard, or having your fields burnt and your crops confiscated and destroyed in the most heinous manner, to not even being able to get your cannabis license now that they've, put that in the mix with decriminalization. Around those issues. I know you used to plant, a lot back in the day, and you've experienced what some of those injustices.
Well, in my time of planting, I faced a lot of persecutions. I even get my camp burned down. A lot of times lost all my resources, because when they come and they burn down your camp, it's not just about your herb you're losing. Because sometimes you pour out like 10, 15,000 in chemicals. Sometimes you had to buy Promix, you had to buy manure, you had to buy chemicals, and when they burn down your crop, all these things going down the road. And then you might have family, and your family facing that loss with you. I feel it's about time, somebody step up, to show the government how it is really feeling about going through these kind of loss. It's not a normal thing. It may be looking normal, but it doesn't mean no normal loss for Anna,
What does it do to your mental, your psychological, your emotional, when someone comes in or an entity comes in and literally destroys something you've taken your time and your care and your intelligence and your investment to grow and create? How do you heal from that?
Well, more time that is break your moral. And in this ganja business, you have to have resilience to stand up in it. Because we already know that marijuana in Trinidad, it didn't legalize as yet. They just decriminalize it. So everybody entitled to an ounce, 28 grams or 30 grams, something like that. You know, and more could be done for I and I as planters who go through the persecution for years. So all we ask in the government is for a slice of cake. And we want to have access so that we could plant our own herb. Sacramental rights we need, you know, because the ganja or the marijuana business in this time, they're using the ganja too usual. Maybe in time gone by, this was a sacramental. And when we sacramental, meaning rights, you know, spiritual rights.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Talk about the sacramental use.
So the spiritual rights of the herb right now, you know, nobody in upkeeping that. It's only I and I as Bobo who, or Rastafari who's standing up for them kind of thing. You know, I mean, we see a need to stand up for marijuana as a sacramental right because we're using it for centuries. You know, and a lot of people get carried away with the use of marijuana, and some just using it for just to get high and, you know, just to have a good time. You know, but we use it like in praises unto our God and King. You know, it's true here is where Solomon used to use the same herb, and Solomon was one of the wisest men. You know, so in this time here we come back to use the herb, you know, even as a sacramental right, you know.
So you use it for meditation purposes, for your traditional activities, for healing, much in the same vein other faiths would use their materials, whether it's wine to represent the blood of Christ or the Holy Eucharist or what other religions use. But so you're saying for the Rastafarian faith in Trinidad and Tobago, it's pretty much saying that your faith is outlawed as well.
Yeah, well, the system, you know, when you come in the system, or Babylon system, you know, them cast the ganja like, you know, it's drugs. And it's because people don't really have the education on marijuana why they class it as a drug. But we know that is a sacramental herb and we know the benefit of it.